Senator Sifuna, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, with tremendous respect to the Senator from Kakamega, pursuant to Standing Order 105 on statement of fact, I have been more than clear that I do not recognize anything called broad-based government. Yes. I am not part of it. Why does he keep dragging me and my good name into these conversations all the time, and yet it is not factual that I have abandoned my role as an opposition legislator? Can he withdraw that statement and that reference to me? And Honorable Speaker, kindly, for the sake of order in the House, guide Honorable Khalwale that it is possible to just make submissions without every single time and every single opportunity you get throwing jibes at your colleagues.
Senator Khalwale, that is self-explanatory. Please withdraw.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, in fact, the Senator of Nairobi is more than 100% right. And I wouldn't want to drag your name in mud, especially given the fact that I'm your elder from the community and I have a responsibility to hold your hand the way Michael Kijana Wamalu held my hand when I came to this parliament. By referring to you, I did it wrongly. I was thinking about the Orange Democratic Movement, and because you are the Secretary General. Correct. I know you are very clear, you have nothing to do with broad-based government. In fact, it reminded me yesterday when you were challenging me that you have no idea which party I belong to.
Senator Khalwale, would you just withdraw what
Yes,
you said
yes.
If you are withdrawing and move on with your...
Madam Speaker, I want to calm him so that he doesn't feel that...
He's extremely calm, as I can see.
You are now calm. Bas, that's what I wanted. I don't want him to sleep thinking that the grandfather of his daughter is a problem to him. Madam Speaker.
Senator Khalwale, you are just squandering your own time. Please focus on what you were saying.
Madam Speaker,
can you withdraw the allegation that Cherargei is paid to harass you? Let's
Madam
focus.
Speaker, but he has not complained. If he had complained, then there would be reason. He's taken it in his stride. The debater he is. A grandchild of John Maria Sarney from Nandi.
Senator Cherargei, what's your point of order? I wish the two of you would realize how much time you're taking off a very important debate. Proceed with your point of order.
Madam Speaker, I raise under Standing Order 105 on accuracy of fact. Senator Khalwale has alleged that I get paid to attack him. That is far from the truth. Can he withdraw and apologize?
Senator Khalwale, would you...
Madam Speaker, I withdraw and apologize.
Thank you. Proceed with the debate.
In our other life,
don't qualify what you have said.
Thank you. In our other life, we shall pursue it with him. Madam Speaker, it concerns me that we have no comparative value for the cost of doing projects. Building houses has a cost. When you just think randomly, the expressway highway was built at 63 billion shillings. Thika Superhighway was built at, Madam Speaker, 27 billion shillings. It means, Madam Speaker, $1 billion is a big thing. And on a day like this, when we are talking about quantum, the systems that the government is using to manage our economy, including the latest introduction of electronic banking, specifically e-citizen. When we hear that e-citizen, the Auditor General, is saying in writing that 11 billion shillings is gone. Gone where? When we hear that one person, not two people, one person earns a convenience fee from transaction of e-citizen, he earns 50 million shillings per month, one person who we know because his name has been stated. The young man must truly be smiling all the way to the bank. Parliament functioning as it is, let us stop this theft through e-citizen. Let us stop the theft through inflation of projects. With this, Madam Speaker, if we achieve it, then the housing project is going to be a game changer. As I saw, Madam Speaker, I don't know whether it escaped you, a report in Tanzania during the ongoing presidential campaign. The president was being challenged that you are telling us that you are going to fix street lights, that Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, our cities will be lit. And yet in Kenya, the president is building houses. You can see how far we are. So if we push this housing and get it done very well, we'll be way, way ahead of all other East African community economies. Look, it is projected that in the next financial year, the economy of Ethiopia will be ahead of Kenya at 15.6. It will grow, and Kenya will grow by 15. Why would Ethiopia, a country which is struggling with democracy, a country that is struggling with stability, struggling with the national cohesion, doesn't have a good constitution like ours, doesn't have a well thought out, devolved system like ours, should leapfrog us? Why? They go, they do a dam there, we sing in praise of them, and yet we can't fix our dams on River Tana. We wait like we are waiting now when the rain season comes in for water to disturb people in Tana River. Families will be unsettled, property will be destroyed, life will be lost. And all we need to do is to dam the Tana River. You dam it, you make it more productive. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the committee for this nice report and hope that Parliament will help the executive to succeed. Thank you.
Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From the onset, I want to be very clear that I stand to oppose these regulations in the report by the committee recommending that we support them. Senator Mofaya knows that I have a lot of respect for him, but I have reasons, Honorable Speaker, why I think that should be the position. I speak as a stakeholder here. I pay over 30,000 shillings every single month, an involuntary deduction that I opposed with all my strength, Honorable Speaker, but was overruled. And therefore, this fund already has my money. Number two, Nairobi City County is perhaps the scene of the largest such construction of the so-called affordable houses. And our people are actually the most affected, Honorable Speaker. The basis of my objection to the recommendation of the committee is twofold. Firstly, it's procedural matters, Honorable Speaker. There is a reason Secretary shall. Outside of that time, I am not convinced by the explanation that has been given by the committee. It was his responsibility. It is dereliction of duty. This is one of the most prominent projects of this administration, there is no way you can tell me that the Ministry of Housing would miss that deadline. I am not convinced, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the committee also accepts that in violation of the law, the law requires that the Cabinet Secretary shall submit published regulations. In fact, the regulations that were sent to Parliament were draft regulations. Now, the committee led by Mofaya is telling me, a lawyer who knows the meaning of the word shall and its implications, to ignore the fact that the Cabinet Secretary sent to Parliament draft regulations. It is unacceptable, Honorable Speaker, from where I stand. Honorable Speaker, we are required to approve or reject these regulations within 15 sitting days. The committee there has noted in their own report that those days were to expire on 11th of September. You should have at least struggled or tried to explain to the House whether it was because of the amendment of the calendar that was moved by the majority leader during the impeachment. At the very minimum, please, Senator Gataya, explain to us, because according to my calendar, unless the committee has a different one, today is way past the 11th of September. And, Madam Speaker, that is significant for one reason. The law states that if we don't reject within that period, these things stand approved. So I'm standing here wondering, am I, once again, Majority Leader, engaging myself in an exercise in futility? And that would be an egregious violation of my constitutional responsibility to go through these regulations for the sake of the people who elected me. Honorable Speaker, one of the final things, procedural ones that I thought I would bring up, there was something else. I think I'll see it, yes. Honorable Speaker, when a law says that when you're passing or bringing legislation or regulations, you publish them in a newspaper of nationwide circulation, it means exactly that. A newspaper of nationwide circulation. Now, everybody knows what the word newspaper means. Everybody knows what wide circulation means. It cannot be stuck somewhere in there in a government supplement or releases from the ministries. Honorable Speaker, the ministry has told us that instead of putting this advertisement in a newspaper, such as the Daily Nation, which everybody knows in this country is a newspaper of wide circulation, or the Standard, or both. In fact, the practice I have seen is that when it comes to serious legislation, you put them in both of those newspapers. What they have done, Honorable Speaker, is to circulate this thing in a publication that I personally never read because I consider it illegal and unconstitutional, an affront to the freedom of media. They call it MyGov. Honorable Speaker, if you consider the history of that publication called MyGov, it was out of a desire to punish media houses that were not playing the tune that some of these friends of ours these days sing in public barazas and markets. It was to deny revenue, government revenue, to the mainstream newspapers as a way of making them bend to the will of government. Honorable Speaker, that was the invention of this thing called MyGov. It is tucked in the Tuesday edition of the Star. The Tuesday edition of the Star. I can assure you, my mother did not see that publication. And she's a mother of a very well-learned senator. Down there in the village in Kitinda, she didn't see it. But I am sure she read the Tuesday edition of the Daily Nation that day. So the explanation that is given, Honorable Speaker, is that there was a directive of government that government advertisements be carried in this publication. The question I'm asking myself, Honorable Mwenda Gataya, can a directive of government, which is basically what these things, what do they call them? I see them issued from State House from time to time. It's executive fiat. Can it override a requirement of the law for you to publish these regulations or the law in newspapers of nationwide circulation? And my answer to that is no. Madam Speaker, I am done with the procedural problems that I have with this particular report and with these regulations. Let's go to the substance, the actual provisions. So, according to the report of the committee, these particular regulations are the ones that are supposed to operationalize the Affordable Housing Act. It is supposed to provide for a procedure and criteria for allocation. Now, if you read the regulations, the Act itself has a board. They have said that the procedure for allocation of these particular affordable houses is you must make an electronic application to the board. The criteria is set there. So some of the issues that were being raised by Senator Khalwale, if indeed we put in place in a law a board to be able to be the ones to determine who gets these units of housing, how can anyone else, it doesn't matter their position in the structure of government, be the one allocating houses? And I speak painfully because this is my money. And the initial argument, Honorable Speaker, was that those of us who make an income contributing to this fund so that the people on the lower echelons of society in Mukuru can be able to afford these houses. Are we still serving those people, or these affordable houses paid for by my money very painfully, Honorable Speaker, are available for donations because of someone sitting in the office of head of state? He can decide today that Faith Kipyegon deserves a 2-bedroom house. Faith Kipyegon, for all her glory, surely, you know, she cannot be described as a poor person. She doesn't live in Mukuru. She doesn't live in Mukuru. Why would we pass a law? Why couldn't we just say, this fund is now going to be run from State House, and he will decide and determine who gets these affordable houses at whim? Secondly, Honorable Speaker, they have provided for a requirement for a deposit of 5% of the unit price. I have a problem, and the people of Mukuru, the people of Mathare, the people of Kibra in Nairobi have told us, because in Nairobi, as a county government, we are also undertaking affordable housing schemes, and because of the intervention of this Senate, and especially the Senate Housing Committee, we have made sure that there is no requirement for a deposit when you get a unit of an affordable house under the Nairobi County government. Because we know our people. We know our people, Senator Khalwale. They cannot afford 5% of, I don't know what is the cost of a 2-bedroom house in the new Mukuru. Honorable Speaker, they cannot afford. No wonder many of them, even after getting into those houses, are selling those houses, are renting them out, and going back to the slum. They are going back to the slum. Madam Speaker, that requirement of a deposit does not make sense to me, because we have already contributed amounts. We have already contributed amounts. I think I've been contributing for over a year now. Can my money be used as deposit for the people of Mukuru? I am never going to apply for those houses. They were not meant for people like me. I have a parliamentary scheme here. I have a house. Honorable Speaker, this one, on behalf of the people of Nairobi, I have to say no. Then they go and create something called deposit assistance, which basically is to tell you that they will give you a loan to get the deposit. They will give you a loan to get the deposit. Senator Gataya, if, for instance, people who have been contributing and actually wanted, a teacher in Buruburu wanted to apply for this house, they have already been paying. They have already been paying. Why are you asking them for a deposit? Then you go and give them a loan. And they have structured, Honorable Speaker, interest bands that depending on how much money you earn. I have a big problem there, because, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the report of the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, there are only 387,000 Kenyans as of 2023 who earn over 100,000 shillings. And this figure is critical, Honorable Speaker, for various reasons. You will see there that in these regulations, there are 3 categories of houses. Social housing, which is for people who earn less than 20,000 shillings per month. Then there's something they are calling affordable housing, 20 for people who earn between 20 and 140,000 shillings per month. Then there's this thing called affordable middle income housing for people who earn over 150,000 Kenya shillings. Out of a population of 55 million people, only 387 as of 2023 earn above 100,000 shillings. You are telling us you are reeling off 200 units per year. Who are you building these houses for? Who are these people you're building these houses for? If you did, of course, they have never even scratched the surface on that promise of 200,000 annually. But, Honorable Speaker, if they build those 200,000 houses in 1 year, and another financial year they build 200,000 so that we have a total of 400,000, the people who would be able to afford those houses would already be exhausted because the number is at 387,000 people only who can afford these houses. We have problems. We have problems with this.
Senator Sifuna, can you be informed?
No, I am teaching. Honorable Speaker, I'm in the middle of imparting information. Please don't.
Okay, proceed.
What do you want to inform me? You will have your own opportunity to be able to do this. Honorable Speaker, please, I don't like to be interrupted. This is what they do. Now,